and then that person read it and commented, saying that that was her, and she was saying, you know, you're so mean. And I felt really, really bad, because for once I had actually forgotten that I was somebody famous and that there are people who I don't know follow me, and that was the last time I ever do that. So yeah, don't do that. It's bad. Really, really bad. Public shaming often says more about you than the person you're talking about. It sends a message that you don't respect others and may damage the trust your audience has in you. That's what happened to me. 3, claiming other people's content as your own. Anytime you use someone else's content without attribution, images, quotes, or original ideas, you run some pretty serious risks. Remember that copyright infringement is a serious offense that can lead to legal action and that can do serious damage to your brand. Now that's important for people who have businesses or people who are creators or artists. You know, all that is important because, you know, sometimes, because there's so much information out there and it's at your fingertips, sometimes you think, oh, I'll just grab that and I'll put it in here. You're thinking, oh, that's not stealing, but actually it is. You know, so that's why there's licit, there's license, music now. You guys ever post a video on Facebook or on YouTube where, like, you know, you're all singing in the car maybe, or you're at a concert and you post it, but it gets blocked, and you get like this message from Facebook saying that there's illegal content in your video, so therefore that's why you can't post it. It's, you know, because you licensing for the music. Sharing specifics about an upcoming holiday or business trip. Now, this is an kind of iffy kind of because everybody loves sharing about where they're going, where they're at, whether they're on holiday, what they're doing, things like that. You know, that's fine. Sometimes it's good to tag your location, sometimes it's not. The important thing is just to keep in mind that you're actually telling people that there's no one at home. So you're basically almost inviting them to come and take your stuff, you know? So just be conscious about, you know, what you're tagging, where you're saying you're off, where you're at, you know, because there are a lot of sipat mongkut out there. What's sipat mongkut in English? Just bad people, guys. Very bad people. Right. Private conversations without permission. Review or testimonial about your product. It's always a good idea to ask for permission before sharing this type of content on social media. If you're going to be sharing a screenshot or identifying any information, you definitely need to get written permission first. Now this is important because, for example, one day you're all gonna sell something, you know, whether you're selling clothes online, makeup, or, you know, anything. When you take somebody's review, right? Like for example, for my brand, I have an instant eyeshadow that I sell. And so my customers, so we ask them to review. So they'll do a picture or they'll write a comment, you know, oh, it's great, it's so easy, blah, blah, blah. It's really good. Now, if I take that and I put it on my social media, that means I'm using them to sell my stuff, which if I can ask and they're not happy about that, they could actually sue me, you know. Well, we're in the States, but in Thailand, I think it's a big step that nobody wants to go through. But, you know, I think it's important to keep that in mind because I'm sure, you know, you guys are going to be doing a lot of work and things through the internet. So it's always important to keep that in mind. Number 7, too much personal information. Be yourself on social media is good, but be sure to have a good balance. Okay, have a good balance. As I said, you know, it's good to be yourself, but sometimes too much information can just be actually, I've got a few friends who are totally addicted to sharing every single moment on Instagram. It's like what they're eating, what they're wearing, where they're going to work, or what they're eating, or where they are at 11 a.m. and then where they are at 11:45 and what they're eating and where they're going. And it's like, I've got a friend who only follows 7 people, and she's had to stop following this one person because she kept seeing every single thing this person was doing. She just like was driving me nuts. Sometimes too much information is just too much. You have other stuff to do in life, right? It's not all about sharing everything on social media, is it? Financial information, I think that's a given, right? That's a given. Not to, put out your ATM card or, right? That's a given. Everybody knows about that, right? Number 9, sharing posts or links that aren't substantiated. Now, I have to keep reminding myself that, because earlier I talked about, there's a lot of stuff out there that are fake. There's a lot of people out there who just like to put bull stuff online because they think it's funny, or they want to generate something that they want to see if it's going to go viral or not, right? And I think this is important because sometimes I just read the headline, the big caption, I'm like, oh my God, and I press share, right? And then it's absolutely crap or something that I shouldn't have done. So it's always important to read first, to click into it and see if it's worth sharing. Yeah, because you don't want to share that wrong information. It's really, really important. Anything, the last and not least, anything you don't want to be online forever. And this is serious. Because when you put something on social media, it will be out there permanently. In the age of screenshots, there is no taking it back. Even if you've made a big mistake, before you post anything remotely personal or sensitive, ask yourself, do I really want this to be online forever? If the answer is no, don't hit the post button. Snapchat, you guys do Snapchat, right? You know how they say, oh, it's only going to be up for how long? Or is it a day or an hour, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? 24 hours? Bull crap. Because somebody would have snapped that, taken a screenshot of that, or saved that. I know a lot of people who went out drinking and they're like, taking off their clothes and all of a sudden it's all over the internet. Right, guys? So as I said earlier, and just before and now, think about what you're going to post, because personal branding is so important, especially for you guys in today's life, in what you're going to do in the future. Because some of you are going to be CEO of a company one day, and you don't want you ranting about how bad the economy is in Thailand, or something like that, or about the monarchy, or something like that, right? Because everybody knows that's a no-no in Thailand, right? I can't stress how important it is to remember that, because being so young and being so wanting to share, being so open about yourselves, we weren't like that when we were growing up. We didn't have this platform where we could post, oh, what I ate this morning, oh, my son took a horrible poo, or, stinks, or whatever. We didn't have that platform, but you have it now, and it's so, I want to say, it's a part of your daily life. It's almost like waking up and automatically brushing your teeth. But I bet you more than half of the people in this room, the first thing you do when you open your eyes is you turn over and you grab your phone. And you look at what's happening, right? So I leave you with this. Ask yourself first, what you post, do you want that to be on your branding forever? Somebody would have read it, somebody would have snapped it. Is that going to hurt you in your future? Thank you.
So thank you so much. So we have some Q&A for anyone who would like to ask any questions to Lukkade, and she will try to answer your question. Anyone? Yes, Zach?
God, I hope it's an easy question.
Has it ever gotten to a point on social media where you felt like you just need to take a break? Have you ever gotten to that point where there's so much hate that you're just like, I'm gonna take a break?
Never. I know some people have, like I have a girlfriend who lives in America, my girlfriend Helen, who used to live in Thailand, used to be a celebrity. She, for some, some people get into this like, putting yourself out there is too much, and I want my privacy. You know how Americans are, right? So emo about things sometimes. And I'm gonna delete my profile, whatever. I think if you're able to separate reality, real life, and bullshit, excuse my language, then you can separate that. Because as a celebrity in Thailand, for doing that show, I had to have thick skin. Because I knew that I was going to get this kind of feedback. Because I thought, if the show was going to work, I had to be that bitch. I had to be that crazy girl. I had to be that mentor who just came in and just started bitching about everybody. And I'm going to cut you because you're my competition. And I want to win. So going in that job with that mindset, I knew that I was going to get stuff back. If this show would work, I was going to get negative because Thai people, I think people in general are like that when they're cheering. It's kind of like when you have Hilasi, sports day, right? Sports day, you've got your group of best buddies, but then you get separated. He's on the blue team and he's on the red team, he's on the yellow team. And when you're in there and you're playing and you're competing, I'm gonna kick your butt, but then once the game is over, you become friends again, right? That's how it was on the face, right? So everybody didn't see that, they didn't understand that. They actually thought we hated each other. So that's why I got all these bad feedback. Harsh feedback. But I had to make myself strong. And I think if you're not strong-minded, strong-hearted, and know that, they're just doing that because of the show, then I was able to see past that. But as I said earlier, there were a few people on the show who just couldn't deal with that. And they were like, I'm never going to do this show again, and they couldn't deal with it. So that's why I said, you have to know, and you have to know the difference between reality and bullshit. And bullshit are the haters, and they're the people who have no lives, and they just sit there in front of their keyboard and just start typing and just become that horrible person. And you know what? There are people like that. There are people like that. And what do? You can just report them. Block you. How many people can I block? They'll just change their profile and come back, So if there's one thing that I could teach people, about this whole new thing with social media and the internet and everything, is that, what? It really hurts. It does really hurt that when you are so mean. social media is so big that, what you guys heard, the nation's gonna shut down, the Nation newspaper. That's because nobody's buying paper anymore, nobody's buying newspapers, nobody's buying magazines, it's because everything is online, you know? So it's like, I don't know, you just gotta be conscious and, you know, have that heart, you know, and know that when you post something or when you're gonna be negative or write something negative, you know, just, it's gonna affect somebody. Yes?
Actually, I would like to know what to do if, like, you would like to create your, to build your personal branding, but it might affect your family reputation.
Ooh, well. Your personal branding, what are you talking about? Is it for business or?
Yeah, let's say for business.
Let's say for business, right? Well, what are you selling that's going to affect your family?
Okay.
Give me.
Yeah, let's say, okay, I'm a Christian,
Okay.
and for, like, as a Christian, we are not allowed to do some business.
Yes.
And if, for example, I decide to start selling like bra, blah, blah, blah,
Ah.
and my family will be like, no, not that one. But it's things that I don't like.
Mm.
So what to do?
What do you do? Well, you buy your mom a big house with that luggage. You buy her that big fat car. No, I'm joking. Well, that's a tough one, you know, because people gotta eat, you know? People gotta eat, and by you saying that, I have to believe that maybe your parents still aren't in or with the whole internet world. So maybe that's why, you know, they feel that way. So I think, one, you try and teach them and let them understand, or talk to them and say, you know what, it's business and it's work and it pays a lot. But I have to ask you, is it worth it though? I mean, if you're, for example, if you're selling something that you shouldn't be selling, like underwear and bras or swimsuit, right? Can you sell something else? If it's going to make such a conflict, can you do something else? But if it's making you so much money, if you become the next Victoria's Secrets, girlfriend, do it. You know, but it's, again, it's teaching them, trying to make them understand. You know, for example, there's a beautiful woman now on Sports Illustrated. The first model to wear burqa, right? Do you guys know about that? Yes? And she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And she's the first model. I forget what country she's from, but she's a beautiful woman. She's wearing a burqa, and she's wearing like a wetsuit, you know, a blue wetsuit, and then she's got a swimsuit on top, you know, and the world is changing. You know, so I'd like to say that you try to balance it out. You know, you try to balance it out, and you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? You know, I can't give you the right answer because the answer will come from you within. You know, you try to balance it, and I'm just trying to think if there was anything that I can relate to. The only thing that I can relate to that is when I started modeling, and my mom was living in the States. My mom's very Thai. She's lived there for 30 years, but she's still so Thai. Very like, very, very Thai. Thai ways, Thai values. And so I'm here in Thailand, and I'm strutting down the catwalk in like bikini and see-through things, and all of a sudden my little Lukkades are on the front page newspaper, and and she's like, she's freaking out, you know, she's like, oh my God, and she goes, you know, your grandfather used to be general police, you know, what are people gonna say? หลานสาวไปยืนเดินแก้ผ้าอยู่กลางเวที you know เป็นผู้กำกับ oh you know in a closed tent, and that, you know, some photos got released that shouldn't have, and she didn't understand, and she hated it, and we fought all the time. But today, now that she's going back to Thailand, and she saw that, you know, when we take photos, it's retouching. I'm not really standing there butt naked, I've got something on, and they retouch it off or whatever, it's magic, computer magic, and so now she understands. So again, it's all up to you into how you go about it. But I can tell you this, if it was me and I became the next Victoria's Secret and sold all those bras all over the world, I'm gonna do it. Anyone else?
One last question. Anyone?
So, it sounds like you have a lot of different roles and a lot of different personas. I mean, you've got how you projected yourself in the on the face. You've got the glamour and modeling and beauty and everything that you're involved that way. But you've also got this person who you're trying to project as well. The mom, the mother, mom and mother.
Same thing.
Mom, the wife, the friend, all these other things. How do you find balance between what your followers want and what your agent wants? Because they want the glamour. They want you to project yourself a certain way.